He did make a good point. None of you are dressed as Naruto characters, so that does say something.
Oh, wait.
I'm technically dressed as the Green Lantern.
There's a person in the back that's dressed like a Naruto character. You are now officially the most intelligent Naruto fan that we've ever met.
No, we should so, now you just helped me off.
Good job, dude. I'm not a hearing aid gymnast anymore.
So we're really, it goes even farther back than that. Really, it goes back to the bards and troubadours. When you are, fan fiction, we're going to be talking about later why people write fan fiction and why should they write fan fiction. It really taps into the archetypes that really connect us across societies, and it brings, fan fiction actually has a lot of purposes besides just entertainment. It connects ideas, morals, economic, and when the travelers, the storytellers, the bards, they went into a town, they went into a village, and they listened. They took in what actually people talked about, and they knew about the stories that they heard before. And when you're trying to captivate an audience, because obviously people back then, they weren't so much trying to entertain, but trying to get some food. You're a traveling bard, troubadour, you're trying to get some food to put in your stomach so you can move on to the next town. You tapped into those ideas, you tapped into those archetypes, the mythologies you heard before, common tales of, fables that were around regional in that area. So a lot of other writers, when, after the troubadours and the bards came around, Shakespeare is the one that everybody throws around, but there's, there's some validity to that because he, everybody goes Shakespeare, wonderful, 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 but the reason why I like Shakespeare is he taps into different manifestations of mythologies. So a lot of people lump the Greco-Romans together, but there are definitely different viewpoints on those kind of energies that they were praying to, the stories they were talking about, and he kind of tried to mix and merge them into a form that the higher-ups, the people that were paying the bills, could appreciate, and a lot of sexuality and violence for people that were the penny pitchers, on the ground. Ground. What do you call penny pitchers? Penny. What is the actual word? Not penny pitchers. What? There's the actual word for it, but anyway.
The cheap seats. Which one?
The cheap seats, yeah. So he tried to tap into those concepts. And furthermore, if you go down the line, so any questions about that? Anything that I really should go into? Anyone? Bueller?
No, apparently.
We'll get to the gay stuff. Okay. So the gay stuff. No.
Mr.
What
Mime.
did you say?
There was a thing back there.
Groundlings was the word you were looking for. That's it.
Groundlings. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing research for us. See, we don't have to do anything in this panel.
But if you don't have anything to do for this panel, why are you doing the panel?
Because we're insane.
Welcome to my world!
So anyway, that's basically, believe it or not, that was supposed to be the intro to our panel, but you guys are so intelligent, we got wrapped in a legal discussion, and it's awesome. So that's basically fan fiction in a nutshell, a very long half-hour nutshell. And so now this is basically when we talk about, fan fiction itself, the practical applications and so on and so forth, fan fiction in modern day. So let's start by saying, who's written fan fiction?
I've tried.
All right, that's so most of you guys. Who's published fan fiction?
No.
And by the way, fanfiction.net and stuff counts as publishing.
Oh.
This is important, guys. Putting your stuff on the internet, even though it doesn't seem like it, counts as publishing. Your works are published. People can read them. You're not sort of exempt from the rules of making your fan fiction good. So who here has written good fan fiction? Liars! We went over this before. Neil Gaiman doesn't think he's written good fan fiction.
I personally don't think I've written fan fiction, but people have told me I've written good fan fiction.
How many of you have read good fan fiction?
Oh, yes.
Also liars. No, that's not true. We're like we make a lot of jokes because it's a lot, well, it's a lot more entertaining to be up here making jokes while we make a point rather than to just talk in a monotone voice and continue to try and make our point about fan fiction for the entire hour that we're sitting up here.
Do it so humorous.
Never stop doing that.
But no, in actuality, here's the funny thing. Fan fiction can be good. Anything really can be good. The
Some
question
is harder than others.
many of you guys have heard, the saying 90% of everything is crap. This is not evident anywhere more clearly than fan fiction.
Your numbers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with like 98.
Like there,
Yeah,
98,
well-
99, possibly 99.9 repeating.
The problem is that well, the internet happened, and in many ways it's good, but in the fan fiction community, it turned out into some sort of backwards filter. Instead of there being a filter that cut out the crap, there was a filter that cut out a lot of the good stuff.
Yeah, Jay said earlier that there are historically there are all these examples of troubadours, bards, important playwrights that you already talked. Hold on. That had these magnificent works of fan fiction because back then, if you were a writer or a singer or a playwright, you were just a writer or singer. There was no ye olde fanfiction.net. So
Yeah,
you're
probably started out crap.
yeah, you had to make sure that your stuff was good. But fanfiction.net, as well as a lot of the other fanfiction communities, not that it's necessarily a bad thing for there to be a place where anyone can publish their works, because really that, in theory, on paper, that's a good thing. But yeah, fanfiction.net has become self-apologetic. How many of you guys have seen a fic that in its summary has said, I wrote this for myself, or sorry, it sucks, or something like that? All of you? That's fucking stupid!
Or even better, no negative comments.
Please don't blame this.
Yeah. If you want to become a better writer, people need to tell you that your work is crap.
Yeah. When you've published your work is now part of the public forum. When your work is part of the public forum, people are allowed to say whatever the fuck they want about it. It's really just the way things are. And we apologize for those of you with low self-esteem out there. We know what having low self-esteem is like. We grew up geeks, and now we're up here talking about geeky shit. How much do you think we got made fun of in high school? Yeah, low self-esteem sucks, but like when it comes down to it, you can't live behind a shield of, oh my God, please don't flame me forever.
You really wouldn't want a society that would have that. That would, foster no growth. If there's no negative comments, if there's no, polarity of, you have creation, you have destruction, you have, positive comments, negative comments. All those are necessary for growth and continuation of, everything. So same thing with fiction, and same thing with writing. If a person at 4 or 5 years old are not taught proper grammar, taught proper spelling, when they grow older, they're not going to have the tools to maybe contribute something positive to society.
Yeah,
Don't think of it as being negative comments. Think of it as being constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And everybody hates the term constructive criticism, myself included, because I hate anybody criticizing anything that I do in life.
Well, the problem is, a lot of times
But
constructive criticism
you
isn't
still
even
want
criticism.
it, because you know what? It's going to help your writing in general. It's going to help you. It's going to help your development, as he said. Even at this age, you're still developing, you're still learning, you're still growing. So you want the constructive criticism. It's going to help you with everything you do. And having good writing is something that you will need. You will need it.
I'm gonna add something else to that. I mean, especially don't consider negative comments. Consider constructive criticism. There is actually such thing as negative comments, and those are also useful too. If you actually don't take offense to it and see how your writing provokes people, even the lowest common denominator, you can utilize that to figure out and tap into different areas of people's consciousness when you're writing and crafting your craft.
Yeah, let's say for a second, let's say for the sake of argument, that you write something, let's say you write a slash fic. You write a slash fic, okay? And someone posts a comment, a really inflammatory comment, OMFG, gay shit, faggot, something like that, you know? Something really offensive and horrible. Now, we're not telling you to listen to that. We're telling you to think for a second what in that comment could have been said constructively. Because flamers are going to flame, haters are going to hate, it's going to happen. But
Especially on the internet.
But you know what? Maybe you should take a look over your fic and say, is this a well-constructed, well-thought-out love story, or is this just this crazy idea about two characters getting together and kissing each other with tongues? And you know what? If you go back and look at that, and first of all, don't let the flamers get to you, because you should never let flamers get to you.
They hate the fic, not you.
Yeah, they don't hate you. This is not saying something about you. This is, you know, they're
Sometimes they
flamers.
don't even hate the fic because they didn't bother to read it. They just hate themselves.
Yeah. But every negative comment you get, no matter how flamey, deserves a second read of your fic. If only because second reads of your fic are good. In fact, you should be second reading your fic several times over, and this is just a good way to keep you doing it. So, you know, no.
Please read the things over, because you will find mistakes.
Yes,
Let
you
somebody
will.
else
Editor.
Grammar. If you don't want to read it, I hated reading my papers. I really hated reading my papers. I'd send them to my brother this was for college, but I'd send them to a brother, best friend, whatever. Somebody down the hall that you don't even know. Just be like, please read this. Tell me what's wrong with it. You know, just something. Please get people to read your stuff, please.
There's a hand over there. Oh, sorry. No, hold on. I mean, go.
No,
Okay.
Do something.
Good example.
Beta readers?
In the professional world, we call those editors.
Yeah. Well, there's a slight difference, but you want two things. You want, well, one, if you want someone to read your fic who catches your mistakes because you can't see them because they're your mistakes and they're invisible to you. This is just humanity. And then, you know, if you have a beta reader, that's the best thing you can have. You want someone to tell you if this sucks or if this works or not. So my advice is find someone you think knows what they're talking about and tell them to write your fic about
I'm gonna add even more to that. Sometimes the best way to get good at writing is to help other people with their writing. So if you can find a partner that you respect and you can read each other's writings, it's a good way to craft you know, your talents and your skills. Because when you start seeing their common mistakes and how the spelling, grammar, even like structurally, the crafting the story, you can start seeing that in your own writing, and you can be preemptive.
Yeah, in my advice, don't have one beta reader, have many beta readers. Every different person that reads your story is going to have other things that they think of. One person might think that your characters are amazing, and another one might think that they need to be fleshed out more. Another person might think that you're too wordy, and might say, kid, cut your stuff down. Another person might actually just be good with grammar. Because here's the thing. Fan fiction writers, and this is not supposed to be insulting, because I suffer from this too, suck at grammar. They just suck at grammar, okay? But here's the thing. That is not an excuse, okay? Like, in my professional life, I have an editor to fix my grammar, But my stuff that goes on my site, even though it's journalism stuff, still doesn't have grammar errors in it, or else it would look horribly unprofessional. If you're publishing your works, and this includes fanfiction.net, your works need to be complete. And by that, and this is something that we always go over, do not have spelling or grammar errors in your story. Do not have spelling or grammar errors in your summary. Do not have spelling or grammar errors in your title. Do not have spelling or grammar errors in your pen name. In fact, do not have grammar in your pen name. It is too long.
All right, I'll give you that one, dude. That was funny.